Hello, welcome. Every time, I swear, every time I drop the cards right after turning on the camera. Thank you for being here. It's Friday, February 13th, Friday the 13th, and I have a little extra time in my schedule. So we're going to do a reading. And we're going to start with the Infinite Door Tarot. I love this deck. Let's see what's with us today. It has been a week. I know that you have felt it. You know, I gave myself a talking to a minute ago. And then I was like, oh, there's some shadow work there. Every little thing can be a entry point to going down that beautiful rabbit hole. So I was like making myself a cup of tea. Actually, I was brewing the water. Is that what you say? I was heating the water. And then I opened my little drawer. I was like, ooh, what warm liquid feels good right now? And I've already had enough caffeine today. I've had what I would call enough already. And I was like reaching for something, and then I was like, I went toward the tea, and then I told myself, and it's caffeine-free tea. I said, I even used my name. I said, not everything has to be caffeinated, Elizabeth. And then I was like, oh, she's right. Why do I feel like I always need caffeine? Why do I always feel like my energy has to be peak? That's where the shadow work came in. I was like, we'll put a pin in that one later. Believe me, I've dug into this before. But I love caffeine. I love it. And also, do I need it? I can love it without needing it. Maybe this isn't a reading. Maybe we're just going to do my shadow work right now. Are you here for it? Just kidding. Let's get going. I also am happy about my Mr. Rogers sweater that I was gifted for Christmas. It is so thick and luxurious. It feels like I love it so much. So when I walk, it's a story time today, I guess. So when I walk in my studio this morning, I always feel like Mr. Rogers, like every day. I laugh just about every day at how funny this is to me. I walk in my front door, and these are waiting for me. My slip-on basic ass Crocs. Like, because I'm like pinching pennies, because I'm like, I'm going to be frugal. So I'm like, I'm going to buy the cheapest Crocs I can find that are like slip on. So like in treatments, I work in my sock feet. So I don't wear these. So I need something easy on, easy off. So these are always by my front door. I take off my outside shoes and I put on my inside shoes, and I'm like, I'm Mr. Rogers. And then today I leveled it up with also putting on my sweater. The end. Let's get started. Thank you for being here and putting up with my apparently over-caffeinated self, who is now drinking herbal tea. Let's see what energy is here. Maybe there's some shadow work we're going to be talking about. I don't know. Let's find out. It is Friday the 13th. You know, scary. Dropsies. Okay, here we go. What in the heck is going on with this photo? I don't think I've seen this card before. It is the Seven of Swords. Yikes, talk about shadow work. Look how scary that is. Look at all the snakes. We are the last week of the year of the snake right now. Challenged by the King of Cups. Ooh. You know, what else do we want to do here? So Since we're not doing a tarot combo, I already did that today. Let's go a bit deeper, or more cards anyway. We'll see how deep we get. So the Seven of Swords is the challenged by the King of Cups. The Seven of Swords is this covert kind of energy. It's something operating sneakily below the surface in our lives. Are we the sneaky one, or is something like trying to sneak into our lives? That doesn't feel right. It just feels like something covert is operating just below the surface, just under the cover of night. And we're like, sometimes it feels like, some people say because it's swords, that it's thought energy. Like, what is stealing our thoughts right now? What is that like subconscious driver maybe that is also like influencing our conscious thoughts and pulling our energy into places, into those dark corners where it's like, no, I don't want to go there. So there's something like a covert, under the cover of night kind of energy at work that feels like very mind energy, like something is stealing our thoughts, because it feels like theft. That's another thing people say about the Seven of Swords. So where do you feel like something's kind of sneaky right now? And then the King of Cups in the challenge position, he's like, there's this, it's like the emotional qualities, not qualities, that's not the word I wanted. So the King of Cups is usually like somebody who's pretty like confident in expressing their emotions. So let's say if it's in the challenge area, where are we sort of like not confident in expressing how we truly feel? And so therefore we're going to express things in this like maybe slightly passive aggressive way, or maybe overtly aggressive way, but it feels more like a passive aggressive. It's sort of like that thing that like steals you away. Like you can't help yourself but say these things that aren't truly how you feel, just because you don't feel like you can embody that vulnerability enough to express how you really feel from the heart. So everything comes out a little wonky or cockeyed. That's an old-timey word, isn't it? Like, who says cockeyed anymore? Like, what even is that? Like, I don't even know what cockeyed is. Gotta Google it. So anyway, there seems to be this, like, I can't help myself. I really want to be the person who can like express themselves from the heart and not feel like false or cheesy, or like I'm gonna get made fun of, or too vulnerable to the point where I'm like, so it's like something feels a little out of balance there, and that's okay. That's what this is all about, is coming back into balance, coming back into alignment, building coherence with all the parts of ourselves. What do you feel like isn't coherent right now between, like, it just, oh, the chills when I said coherence. What? I think it's my word of the year, besides my star word, which is beauty. Like that word I've been thinking a lot about, because last year my star word for the year was witness, and that was huge for me. Like, witness. Now it's beauty, and then I'm like, oh my God, witness beauty, witness it everywhere. I'm getting off topic, but coherence is like another word for me right now this year. Do you have a word? Do you? That really like draws you in, says this is what it's all about. Okay, let's get back. So that's going on. Like, what? I feel like we're going to figure out why we feel out of balance with not being able to express ourselves authentically. And it feels like the authentic self is a heart-based self. And it's not all the time. You've been able to express yourself from the heart plenty of times. Do you feel like something is stealing away your ability to do that, either in a particular situation or in this phase of life or with this particular person? Like, where do you feel stunted? Like, I keep saying things that aren't in alignment with what my heart feels. Okay, let's see what we'll learn. We have the Five of Pentacles. No! Yes. Queen of Wands. And the Two of Swords. Let me show you these. So we have the Five of Pentacles, the Queen of Wands. Look at that butterfly face. Or moth face. I don't even know. And then the Two of Swords. Wow. This is pretty telling. Like, there's the faces are covered in both of those, and then this person feels so far away we can't even like perceive them. Something feels like we're definitely not in tune with our deepest self right now. Not at 100% anyway. Nothing is all one way or another. So, and it's not always or never. But right now it feels like we have something of like a scarcity mindset that comes with the Five of Pentacles. There's something that feels like we feel stuck. We feel trapped. We know it's just our mind. We know we just need a perspective shift. What is going to help us to create that perspective shift? I don't even know maybe what the new perspective is I need. I just know I don't like the current one. And it feels like maybe this is a shadow worky kind of thing. It feels like I know how to release myself from my own jail that I'm putting myself in. I just can't see it yet. And it has something to do with self-worth. It has something to do with believing in myself so deeply that, wait, that's all I can do in life is like focus on building up my sense of worth. But that's even an illusion. It's usually this recipe of like extraction, and that's not the word. Letting go, releasing. We're already 100% worth. You know how I feel about that. This is saying like, what's getting in the way of seeing that? They're too thick. She can't even see it. Like there's a thing on her face. And with this, like I can't, like the door is wide open, and yet I feel like I'm stuck in this giant castle I've made of just like, it's just so impenetrable from the inside out. Yet the doors are wide open. The birds are even coming in and out. Yet I'm keeping myself trapped. So there's this self-trappiness to this reading. And there's, with the Queen of Wands, she's here saying you're already 100% self-worth. Why do you feel like you're not able to express that in the form of your like emotional self, meaning the compassionate, empathetic, unconditional loving self? That doesn't mean emotional as in like, oh, I'm falling apart, you know, with my emotions they're so big, they're overwhelming. That's not what I'm talking about. When I say emotional self, the emotion, the heart-based self, this the only part that matters. You know, we're connecting from this space, and yet it feels like something that you're holding back. There's something keeping you held back from connecting from here, and it feels like I feel like I have a scarcity of self-worth, and there's the Two of Swords that says, like, there's something that you're obviously not seeing clearly. And in order to see it clearly, you really need to tap into the most intuitive part of you. The way through this release back into that, or into the perspective shift you're looking for, is through your intuition. Isn't it always? Like, what else is there? So let's dig deeper. Something wants me to pull from the bottom of the deck to get an overall energy of the Three of Cups. Three of Cups. This is about harmony. There's talked about, we just said the word coherence and how it like gave me all the chills. That's another word. Harmony, coherence, congruity, alignment, consistency, all the things. But this one in particular is about being able to connect. This is all about connection and harmony. So that's exactly what we just said. There's something keeping you from this. And the overall energy here, the overall thing that you deeply desire is to come back into connection with yourself and with other people. So let's get some clarifications. Let's go deeper. Here, let's get the Light Seers Tarot. Every time. Let's see what's here. What are you curious about? I'm kind of, if this were showing up in my life, because it has plenty, there's something that feels unsafe when we are holding back energy. We only hold back because something doesn't feel entirely safe. Why doesn't it feel safe to express yourself from the heart? Did it get shot down or made fun of or poo-pooed at some point, or said like, give me a break? Did somebody really rain on your parade when you really opened up? And then it was like, nope, shut it down. So this might be where we're going. I'm getting all the chills on that, because that to me is makes me curious. If there's a door to step through there, perhaps, of what in my past made it so I didn't feel safe expressing myself from the heart. So I became very logic driven, sword energy, overly analytical, overly dependent on this, because this is very smart. You're very smart, you're very intelligent, you're very sharp. You can operate there all day long. No problems, right? And then, but what you deeply desire is to come into connection with your heart-based self. These are cups energies. Okay, what is it that why didn't we feel safe? And that really challenged our sense of self-worth. Like when somebody really rains on our emotional parade, our heart parade, then we're like, I thought that was the main part of me. I thought that was the most true part of me. And now somebody says it's not important. Well, then where do I place my sense of worth? This is saying, the sword energy says, yeah, that's where it's placed, but that's not the whole story. There's something begging to be brought back into balance. We need the mind. We just don't need to be all mind, all cognitive energy. Okay. So what are we curious about? What can we inquire into that will help us back into believing that we're 100% worth right out of the gate? That will then help us tap into our ability to express ourselves from the heart. So I think this is a self-worth question. So let's see what we can learn. Okay, we have the Chariot and the Wheel. Two major arcana. So we ask a big question, we get a big answer. Hold on, let me get a sip. The Chariot is, oh my God. This feels like such a thing that has kept us from our sense of agency. When we can't speak our truth, everything falls apart, doesn't it? Then it's like, I'm not expressing who I truly am when I feel like it's not safe. Because once we're able to, both the light and dark aspects of ourself, if you think about the horses representing like both sides, or conscious, subconscious, or unconscious, like our whole self, and this person is now in the driver's seat of their life, and they're off and running. Like once we can learn to embrace those parts of ourselves, then that is huge. It's like, it almost feels like do you feel really stuck? Because the Chariot is one of momentum. So it's almost saying like the antidote to feeling stuck. Like when you feel stunted, like somebody's really stunted this, then everything might feel stuck. It might feel like I just feel like I have this stunted energy that can't flow. Right? Because the King of Cups, by the way, is all flow. It's usually the number one thing I say about the King of Cups. So something has stunted the flow. He's all flow. And the Chariot is all momentum. Something feels very stuck because somebody made you feel that way at a very pivotal point in life, where it then really did something to your sense of self-worth. Like, then where do I place my worth? If my worth I thought was from here, being able to express how I really feel, it's like you're lost in the desert and feeling stuck. Like, where is it? It almost feels like you believed in their idea too much when they shut you down, or when something bad happened that really questioned, like, why is it not safe? I feel very unsafe. It's like a nervous system thing. Like, I feel very unsafe when I open up to people, because this is all about wanting to connect with others. And obviously we have to connect with ourselves first. The Wheel of Fortune is like, you know how the only constant is change, and the universe doesn't play favorites, meaning you're the main character in your story, and it's not like you're waiting. Feels like a waiting here for somebody to validate you. Maybe that's the lesson. Yep. You're waiting for somebody to validate your existence. You need permission to exist, to live, to love, to express. You are your own permission. You are 100% worth. You don't need validation from the outside, from anybody. You can, even in your own mind, release what happened. You can say to that person in your mind, I forgive you for stunting my creative and loving expression, that stunted my self-worth, that keeps me feeling stuck, that has me living in my head. Whatever it is for you, you can release that in whatever way feels intuitive, because this is all about getting out of the mind and into the body, and really feeling into, with your intuition, your way forward and through this. And what I mean by the universe doesn't play favorites is, it's not like you don't have to sit back and be like, okay, universe, I'll wait for a sign, or I'll wait till it's my turn to feel love, to feel like I can move forward. It's like, no, the universe keeps going, and it's just waiting for you to realize you're already full worth. You can express yourself without fear. Okay, so now that we've got that, let's figure out what little nugget can we dip into. It makes no sense. Can't dip into a nugget, but we can dip our nuggets into other things. For, like, how do we, how can we, like, get unstuck now that we've realized, like, the universe isn't going to do it for us. We have to do it for ourselves. We're already 100% worth. How do we move into believing that we can express ourselves without fear of being ridiculed, outcast, made fun of, not validated? It almost feels like we're waiting for validation. So what can we learn about this idea of validation? The Eight of Swords. Look at that. It's even a mirror. Hold on. Thank you for the answer. The Eight of Swords is one of feeling stuck. That's what we've said about this whole thing. Had a vibe of feeling just stunted and stuck. This is literally the card. If there's one in tarot about feeling stuck, it's the Eight of Swords. It's usually having to do with our mind. Like, our mind is trying to find a way through this problem. Like, the mind is trying to figure out how to feel like our unbridled, got the chills on that, unbridled self. The mind isn't there to tell us how to feel unbridled. The mind is there to keep us bridled. It's there to like shut things down, control, figure out, analyze. It's a useful tool when it's not let off the reins. Horse analogies. It is the year of the horse next year. See, everything's related. This is, to me, this idea of validation is like, you know how we look in the mirror and tell yourself affirmations? Like, you are the one, you're the only one who can validate yourself. First of all, you don't need validation. You're 100% worth out of the womb for your whole life, always and forever. Amen. But the things that get caked onto us, that just cloud that sense of worth. And then we feel like, then we're always reaching, like, I feel like I have holes I got to fill up with worth. And it's like, no, you just got to wipe off the ick. I don't know how many times I've said that. I'll figure out another way to say it. Got to change it up. But this feels like you're looking in a mirror. Look at you. You are unbridled. You are free. You are yourself. You look in the mirror and all you see is a stuck person who can't see, who has no clarity, who just sees darkness all around them, and you're stuck. But that's an illusion. It's just the reflection in the mirror. So that's what we could, when we ask the question, what could we learn about this thing about validation from the outside? It's like, no, it's all from the inside. How can we release ourselves from that? How can we get unstuck? And it feels like being very, it's, first of all, the whole thing has to do with belief in self. The Queen of Wands right here at the center of the spread is like, she has so much, she embodies such a belief in herself, in her sense of worth, in her vibrancy, her creativity, her passion, her life force. Let's just call it life force energy. She has like unbound, unbridled energy. There's so much movement here, momentum. There's a deep trust in the universe, while also knowing that the universe doesn't play favorites. And that's why you can trust it. You can't trust something that plays favorites. That feels like it's true for somebody in terms of like what shot down the ability to open up. What shot down that trust? Why did it feel unsafe? Was somebody playing favorites? Do you feel like the unfavorite sibling, the unfavorite child, the least favorite, or not the top? Something makes it seem like there was favoritism and it wasn't in your favor. That is hard. That's hard to grapple with, isn't it? Because all we want to do in life is feel cherished and loved and supported and seen for who we really are. And if we express who we really are at some point and it gets capped, squashed, poo-pooed, mocked, made fun of, whatever, then it's like, oh, they don't see me, they don't cherish me, they don't love me, they don't know me. We take a huge hit to our self-worth. So this feels like, which also like really deeply, it keeps us out of feeling like we can connect with ourselves or with anybody. And that's it's a tragedy of human experience, isn't it? I feel like there's something else. Hold on, I'm gonna take a sip and blow my nose. Okay, I'm back. You know what struck me as I was sipping and nose blowing and looking at the cards? Like, if you could see this as a full picture, and I'll post a picture on Substack of the full spread and on Instagram. But all of the eyes are covered or closed or hidden. So it's like there's definitely something about feeling unseen, or maybe there's like the ability, like it's this idea of like not being able, like something happened with your self-expression, like authentic expression, where you didn't feel seen, understood, cherished, favorited, loved, whatever that is for you, it has clouded a sense of clarity. Because right here at the start with that Seven of Swords, to see something clearly felt unsafe. Like it's like only I feel like later in life can we truly come to see our parents as real human, faulty humans. But until we're ready, that feels very unsafe because they're our protector, they're our caretaker. And no matter what they've done or allowed to be done or not done, whatever, that didn't feel right, we kind of had to shut it down, compartmentalize it, because they're our source of nurturing and protection at whatever level. They're like the barrier between me and perishing from this earth, however dramatic it feels to the child's nervous system. And so it's like, we kind of put these blinders on and we only allow ourselves to see our caretakers in a certain light. And it's not necessarily from not that there's objective reality, but it's not from like a more objective truth. It's from a very much protective, subjectively protective, protectively subjective lens that we allow ourselves to see our caretakers until we're ready to truly see them as the faulty humans they are, that we all are, in the light, in the truth, the light of truth, the truth of light, because this is all that under the cover of night, energy, unsafety, blindness. It just feels like, are you ready to actually, like, in order to truly let your sense of self-worth emerge at its fullest, first it's saying, do you first need to go back and really honestly, through honest lenses, take a look at your caretakers and what happened to you? This is shadow work, like through the most honest lens you can muster up that you're ready for. And it can be hard, but there's something when you hit a tarot reading, you're meant to glean something from it, huh? Or else you'd be looking at some other one online. But so I always think there's a timing that's so divine, the way the universe serves us up a lesson or an inquiry or whatever we're meant to look at the time we're meant to see it. So is now the time, or have you been dealing with, really grappling with seeing your caretakers as humans, as faulty humans, and what does that bring up for you? Because the way to your flourishing self-worth is through that. And that's that perspective shift, the Five of Pentacles, like keeping the blinders on because we love them. We don't want to see them as faulty humans up to a certain point. We're just not ready for it. It's like almost like we're protecting them from our own judgments by saying, okay, that happened. That's fine. I dealt. I'm fine. Everything's good. But it's stunted us in so many ways. It's kept our energy just feeling so stunted because somewhere deep inside, we know that we have to move through that to get back to this ability to connect deeply. It's like one of those tragically human stories. It's like a rite of passage that I feel like, do you think it's universal on some level? Like, is there any human that has not had to grapple with this on some even basic level, even if they had the most perfect, there's no perfect, but you know what I mean? Like their perception was like, oh my God, I had the perfect childhood, the perfect parents. I got everything I needed when I needed it. I wanted for nothing, like there was no emotional absenteeism. Like I got everything I needed when I needed it. Is that I don't know if that's even a human story. I'm just sort of like trying to frame it in a bigger picture. Like this is universal, and sometimes there's like peace of mind in that. Like there's comfort in knowing that on some level, some dimension, we've all experienced this, like, oh my god, my parents are human. Oh my god, they've always been human, and I never allowed myself to see it because I was protecting myself, and I was protecting them from myself. That's another way to see it, right? Like from my judgment, from my anger, from my resentment. And I don't want to resent my parents. I don't want that feeling of resentment toward my caretakers. So there's like that unwillingness to see in this reading. But all you want is to be able to see clearly. Like you want that clarity. You want to move through it. You want to come back into connection and full self-worth, that feeling of self-worth. So I had no idea we were sitting down to do this reading. Might feel a bit heavy, but it's all in the name of love. I mean, God, there's a readiness every time you something comes to you, there's a readiness to see it and deal with it. And this might be for some of you like, yeah, I know, I've already dealt with this. Well, maybe something's calling you to dig a little deeper and see if there's any little resentment hanging on, any little bit, because it's time to release that resentment, because it does nothing for either party, does it? It does nothing for you to hold on to it. It does nothing for them. Certainly, if you tell them about it, it's certainly like they might finally see what happened from their actions or inactions, but then ultimately that's going to hit you one way or another, and you're back to like, it only does harm to me to hold on to it, or to like there's something about sharing it if it's in the name of love. If you're sharing it as a way to as revenge, don't do it until you look closely at that. Like, to make them aware of it, if it's not all in the name of love, is kind of cruel, isn't it? Because we all just go through life doing things, understanding things at the capacity we have in that moment, and we can't see beyond that capacity. So it's like, it feels cruel to expect somebody to do something beyond their capacity, doesn't it? It's like you would never do that to a child who has certain limitations and say, yeah, but you could be like them and do better, right? Knowing that they couldn't. Like, no, we wouldn't do that as humans. We are loving creatures. So we wouldn't do that to our past parents, even if they've had growth. The them they were at that time was maybe had a more limited capacity. Think about it. Like, I know you have. Let's just noodle on this a second longer. 12:27. I gotta go soon. So my favorite numbers for the last couple of years have been 227, like 12:27, and it's 12:27. Okay, now it's 12:28. We can move on. So if you think about like your own kind of, like, if you want to bring in some compassion for this, like your own self, like, you know, your trajectory through life, what growth spurts you've had emotionally, spiritually, intellectually, and can you go back? You can wish your younger self, man, I wish she was smart enough or had more emotional maturity or awareness to have handled that differently. And that only gets you so far, like the wishing and hoping. But you've even got to let that go because it just didn't exist at the time. So if you want to do that practice with yourself first to help bring in some compassion when you try it with your parents, great, whatever works for you. But I feel like something's being called for here to like extend grace to yourself and to those who've made you. Maybe like nobody makes you feel anything, but at the time there's a reason why these protector and like these parts of yourself evolved, like the parts that said, don't express yourself, it's not safe, right? They're protecting you. They're all out in the name of safety and self-preservation. So it's like, we can extend some grace to say, okay, I know why this came about. I don't have to like it. I might still have some resentments, but extending a little grace might dissolve the resentment. Like, because we're all just faulty humans. As much as much as we want those people who are supposed to be there for us to protect us, protection's coming up a lot lately. Like this idea that like those protector parts of us get out of balance and they overdo things and they say, shut it down, it's not safe. Shut it down, it's not safe. When all we want to do is be free-flowing humans, not worried about safety, because we know we're safe today, now, in today's world. So I think that's all that wants to be said. It's like maybe dig deeper to say, like, is there any little resentment still hanging on? Because all it does is make us feel icky. It does nothing else in the world. Nothing good comes of it. It just maybe illuminates where to dig deeper. Where do you feel the resentment still clinging on if you do? Because it's like time to gain the clarity of like, oh, I didn't know I was holding on to that. And then what we do a lot of times to let that go, and you have your own intuitive, by the way, I can't say this enough. This card shows up when you're meant to be like, your path is yours. Use your intuition. Don't look outside. But there is like something that tends to work is like thanking that part of yourself that shut everything down out of the feeling of unsafety. It's like, okay, thank it. Say you did a good job and now you can, there you go, bye-bye. That is coming up a lot lately this week. I think there's something where when we talk about alignment and like all we want is to come back into this joyful, celebratory, expressive, loving self, which is totally in alignment with our true nature, then right now we're ready to get back into alignment. There's this, I swear, it's like a universal thing right now. It's like the time is now. Like we've always known it, but like there's an urgency to it for some reason. It's like here. And it's like the number one thing I don't know if it's number one, why did I say that keeps us out of alignment are these like imbalanced part of ourselves, and that protector one is one of the main ones, because everything in the human body and psyche is there for self-preservation. Nervous system, ego, all the things, even the subconscious. It's like all the things that operate and all of the systems of the body that stay operating without us having to like tell it to do it is because it's like, no, we got this. You're going to keep living. You're going to survive. You're going to persist. We'll get you through this. And those parts just become a little big and dysfunctional sometimes. So coming back into alignment with our true nature is like bringing those parts back into balance. That's why the Two of Swords is here. Twos are about balance. And saying like, the universe doesn't play favorites. We all go through this. I think that's why I wanted to say it's a universal story. But how far out of balance do you feel? And then where can we like let go of the last little bit of any resentment? Because that is such a beautiful feeling. Let's end on a good note. It's like such a, like, you'll enter back into such a flow state where nothing feels stunted. You'll be like, oh, I perceived all those limits. There are none. I can't believe I even felt like that. It's like that feeling of, I can't believe that I did that for so long. What took me so long to release it? It's like so liberating. So yeah, good luck.